Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. So as we really go back in time a little bit, and I just want to go back to October because that's when we started to see the big, announcements starting to hit the space from Ripple's side. And a lot of it did pertain to custody. Now, a lot of people think that Ripple custody doesn't have anything to do with XRP or, crypto at all, that it's just, all right, well, they're going to custody digital assets or tokenized, things of value on this platform. That's basically it. But the problem here is that a lot of people are actually completely overlooking how important custody actually is. Now, like I said, if we go back to October, this was one of the, first big announcements that we saw. And this was with their new customer, actually, Garanti. This is actually from BBVA. And this was a big move because this was a new customer that got added to Ripple custody. And this was also with IBM. And when we think about custody, right, it's the key for everything around the space. If we think about tokenization, institutional DeFi, whatever the case may be, custody is the first piece of that entire puzzle. But even more recently, we also saw DecaBank added to the list because they were rolling out crypto trading and custody services for institutions built on Ripple custody. Again, we could see that all of these services that, for an example, DecaBank is offering, it all pertains back to one thing: Ripple custody. And even more recently, Ripple did put out a marketing campaign for Ripple custody, highlighting the $1.4 billion that, was lost in the security breach with Bybit. And they, of course, wanted to provide an insight to how custodians can meet institutional crypto custody needs. This goes back to the beginning of the month. And again, even within this, they did talk about institutional adoption and how it's accelerating and how clients are looking for more than safekeeping. They expect sophisticated bank-grade infrastructure that balances robust regulatory compliance with seamless, around-the-clock usability. And this is because it's not just about custody, right? This is going to support the much bigger picture here. And that's where we actually look at this, supporting new use cases. This is the issuance and custody of tokenized securities and RWAs, or cryptocurrency custody and trading wallets for institutional and retail investors. Then we also look at, of course, the compliance controls, becoming a sub-custodian on a global custodians network for enhanced service distribution, which I actually foresee a lot of these banks doing. Even DecaBank is basically doing this as a sub-custodian. Seamless access to liquidity providers, exchanges, and lending and staking platforms. And that's where we really look at the XRP ledger as well, because of the lending platform that is coming to the XRP ledger. Now, outside of this post, why am I bringing up all this old news? Well, it's because we are now starting to see some even bigger moves being made by Ripple, which we will get to here in a second. But first, I want to show you guys two videos. Number one is from the original Ripple and Zodiac custody announcement. Two great beliefs: Ripple, Zodiac custody. This was from Ripple Swell 2023. It feels like forever ago, but when we think about this, we have number one, blockchain is here to stay, and number two, everything starts with custody. When you get custody right, then we can create interesting solutions on top of that. And this is what I mean by what everyone is overlooking in the space, even in the XRP community, is that they don't realize how big Ripple custody actually is. They think that's just some other flashy, product that Ripple is offering, to hype up the news or hype up, this, that, whatever. But no, this is all crucial pillars to actually build the foundation for the digital and tokenized economy. Check this video out.
Hi, I'm Julian, so I'm the CEO of Zodiac Custody. We were created by Standard Chartered Ventures 4 years ago as a standalone custodian. We also have Northern Trust and SBI on our shareholder. I think what is interesting is why were we created outside the bank, even though we are a subsidiary of Standard Chartered? And that, I think, is oil tankers and speedboats, and we know that story pretty well. But I think the underpinning belief is really twofold. One is that blockchain is here to stay, and secondly, kind of as Adrian said in his opening speech, is that everything starts with custody. And if you get custody right, safe, secure place for your assets, then we can create interesting solutions on top of that.
And yeah, this is exactly why I continue to focus on what's happening around Ripple custody or around any of these custodians around this space, because this is where everything begins. And from this, of course, we also saw a great insight from Casey Craddock, which is the managing director at Ripple. From a custody perspective, our product market fit is very much tier 1 banks. Big shout out to Subjective Views for this. Check it out.
Of course, we predominantly service financial institutions. So from a custody perspective, our product market fit is very much in kind of your tier 1 banks. So we've got partners like HSBC that leverage our custody platform. But we do see, different audience sets. So on the Ripple X side, for example, we know that this kind of convergence of kind of more general, but Ripple is this institutional DeFi approach. And so, from a Ripple X perspective, which is really focused on driving the developer ecosystem around the XRP ledger, we're leaning into funding really interesting companies within that space. And we're seeing really exciting early stage companies building on the XRP ledger within lending, payments, use cases, for example. Of course,
so again, we constantly hear the customers that Ripple is serving, which is always the big players, right? Like the big tier 1 banks. They're already partnered up with some very big players, heavy hitters. Bank of America, for an example. HSBC is another absolute giant. Then you mix in Standard Chartered, you mix in all these other additional players that they're already working with. I mean, when we think about Ripple, I've always said it's a powerhouse institutional, infrastructure player, basically. I mean, you got to think about Ripple Swell, right? The original Ripple Swell is basically a banking conference held by a blockchain-based company. Why is that? Why was Ripple the only major player in this space to actually be able to do something like that? It makes you think, it makes you wonder. But then we got this big announcement. Big shout out to Monica Long, the president of Ripple. She said South Korea is gearing up for a wave of institutional crypto adoption. Very excited for Ripple custody to plant another flag in APAC with BDACS South Korea for XRP and ROUSD. The importance for secure institutional grade custody technology can't be overstated, especially as enterprises prepare for an influx of crypto interest. And yeah, just the other day, we saw Ripple post the future of finance is on chain, and this was with the XRP ledger. It's built for the next generation of institutional finance with a fully open source technology. And this was for institutional DeFi to scale. It needs compliance ready interoperable infrastructure. The XRP ledger delivers with all of these additional things. Guys, the entire picture is coming together here. But here we have today, we are partnering up with BDACS to expand institutional crypto custody in South Korea. They will use Ripple custody to provide secure infrastructure for XRP, ROUSD, and other crypto assets, supporting institutional adoption, the XRP ledger developer growth, and Korea's evolving regulatory landscape. A major step in advancing the on-chain economy in the region. When we go over here, we could see, 3 breakdowns. These are the key things, right? Now we have BDACS is a leading digital asset institutional custody firm in Korea, announced on the 26th that it signed a strategic partnership with Ripple, the leading provider of digital asset infrastructure for financial institutions. Now, what is very significant about this partnership? Well, when we go over to BDACS's website real quick before I continue on, if we scroll down, we have the only institutional grade digital asset custody service in Korea. Your digital assets protected in a secure blockchain infrastructure developed by our specialist. Then, of course, we do have some of the news down here. Now, they also just announced a partnership towards the end of 2024 with Worry Bank Forge, Korea's first digital asset partnership as well. This is definitely a player that we are going to keep a close eye on. And it feels as if we are starting to see a lot more partnerships that are very significant from Ripple's side. I mean, it almost feels like night and day over the last couple months. I can't be the only one that is looking at this. Now, also, This partnership aligns with the Financial Service Commission's recently announced roadmap for regulatory approval for institutional participation in the digital asset market. By providing secure XRP and RLUSD custody services for institutional investors, this partnership will support the growth of the XRP ledger developers and its ecosystem, expand the usability of Ripple stablecoin as well, and leverage synergies with Busan, Korea's blockchain regulation-free zone. Guys, I'm very excited about some of these announcements that are happening because it all pertains right back to XRP and the XRPL. I mean, it's very clear here. It's right in your face. BDACS will provide a secure and reliable custody service to support Ripple's pioneering blockchain initiatives. Ultimately, this partnership will enable both companies to enhance and expand the digital asset ecosystem. BDACS will utilize Ripple Custody, which provides institutional-grade software infrastructure for crypto custodians, exchanges, OTC desk, and more to safely store, manage, and access digital assets while maintaining bank-grade security. The amount of crypto assets custody is expected to reach 16 trillion by 2030, and moreover, 10% of the world's GDP is expected to be tokenized by 2030. Custody is the foundation of any digital asset business, enabling new use cases across tokenization, asset management, stablecoin issuance, and more. BDACS supports both XRP and RLUSD. XRP is a digital asset purpose-built for payments and native to the XRPL, a decentralized layer 1 blockchain renowned for its decade-long reliability and stability in tokenizing and exchanging crypto-native and real-world assets. Now down here we're excited to partner with BDACS to bring Ripple's custody solution to institutional investors in South Korea. Again, the big focus here is institutional, by the way. Like, it's all mainly around institutional players at this point. But with the crypto market surging and new opportunities emerging under the FSC's regulatory roadmap, we view this collaboration as a critical step in expanding the digital asset ecosystem. With the Korean regulatory environment shifting positively, allowing corporate participation in digital assets and establishing a framework for stablecoins, the demand for specialized digital asset custody services is expected to surge in this evolving market. BDACS is one of the first institutional-grade custody providers, enabling investors to securely trade XRP, RLUSD, and other digital assets within Korea's regulatory ecosystem. By the way, we also know how massive XRP has been in the South Korean market. It's actually one of the most successful digital assets in that space, and one of the most sought-after digital assets as well in that area as well. So very big +1 there. Now, we also have, thanks to its simple, secure, compliant digital asset infrastructure, Ripple is well positioned to provide the core services that financial institutions need to tokenize, store, exchange, and move digital assets. Ripple has over a decade of experience in the digital asset space and holds 60+ regulatory licenses and registrations in various jurisdictions. BDACS has been rapidly expanding its presence in the global digital asset market, particularly in areas such as tokenized securities and real-world asset tokenization, and through strategic partnerships with major protocols such as Avalanche and Polymesh. In December of last year, BDACS established a significant partnership with Woori Bank, one of Korea's leading commercial banks, to advance digital asset custody services. So this is very exciting. And, again, we continue to see a lot of these things just lining up one by one by one. But we got to remember that all of this is based around custody. Why is it based around custody? Well, it's because we know what the next step is. Just like we heard in that video, right? It all begins with custody. After that, once you get custody right, then you can start creating every additional service, solution, whatever the case may be, on top of that. So now we look at, all right, well, institutional DeFi services, yield generation services, even loan services. I mean, this is basically that digital tokenized economy becoming a reality right before our eyes. This is so exciting, and I'm very bullish for the future for not only XRP, but also for Ripple, because Ripple is becoming an absolute massive giant that is almost impossible to ignore at this point. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.